Boom, right there. How's it going, guys? Token vaping. So today's review is actually a really big deal for me. As a reviewer, I've had the opportunity to sample and taste and review a lot of awesome juice lines that are out there. I've been trying to break more into doing device reviews, tanks, RDAs, things like that. It is a bit slow going, honestly, just because, I'm still a relatively new, so to speak, in the field, and there are a lot of reviewers out there that have a boatload more followers and subscribers than I do, so they're the ones who usually will get, the different devices and things like that sent to them to do reviews. I still have to purchase and pay for all of mine, so it's a little bit of an uphill for me, but I still enjoy what I do, so I'm still doing what I want to do and all of that. However, I did have an opportunity handed to me that I really, really, really am proud of and I'm really, really grateful for. So first, I want to give a big shout out to Dan from EC Supply, who helped me with this and gave me the opportunity and the chance to do this. I'm going to be reviewing a new tank that's on the market, and it is from, if you can see it right there, Innokin. Now, a lot of you know the name. They have a lot of devices that people will understand and know. The Cool Fire, I just had the name for a bunch of them. If you go to their website, it is actually innokin.com. And you basically will have everything listed on here. But they have the Cool Fire, the MVP4. They have there's a newer one that had a really cool look to it, the iTaste Hunter. They have the Smart Box, the Disruptor. More people know them for the iTaste and the Cool Fire device lines, and I think the Cool Fire Ultra is their strongest one. Don't quote me on that specifically. I think that goes up to 150 watts. I think most of their devices are 100 watts or lower. They were never trying to be, we can do this because we can vape it, blah, blah, blah. A lot of their stuff, in my opinion, I haven't had a chance to try a whole lot of their newer stuff, but a lot of their stuff, in my opinion, were great devices for people breaking into vaping, for starting out vaping, to get a feel for it, to find out what works best for them, what type of design, what type of devices that they would like. And a lot of their stuff are great starter kits, or just for simpler vapors. I'm kind of a mid-range. Most of their devices, like I said, they have the Cool Fire Ultra, which goes up to 150 watts, and then after that, I think the highest one that they have goes up to 100 watts. So basically 100 watts or lower, they have a plethora of devices for, which generally will work fine for me, as I usually sit between the 75 to about 100 watt range depending on what I'm vaping. And it also depends on what type of RDA, coils, tanks, things like that you're running. But definitely check them out. They've got a huge assortment of different devices and things like that. Most of their tanks are all similar as well. Most of them were for the lower wattage range vapors, or there's the lower end vapors. I don't want to say lower end, that sounds in more of a negative light, but people that didn't vape super, super high until this tank. Now, this is their newest tank. It is the Scion, and this is basically their answer to all the big hitters that are out there. The Smoke, the TFE8, the 12, the UO Crown 3, the Cleto 120, the Sense. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there now, and they're all capable of huge, huge wattage hits. This is their answer to that, and this is the Innokin Scion, and basically, it is a simple setup of a tank, and I do apologize. I have been using this for a couple of days just to get a feel for this. Obviously, I have juice in this because, you pre-soak the coil, and I wanted to make sure that it had plenty of juice in the coil and in the cotton itself. But Dan from EC Supply was gracious enough to send me one to do this review with. He also sent me these two. One is in black, one is in stainless. Now, I made the mistake. I wanted to use the black because that's the one I use for everything, but I ended up opening the white by accident. But for these two, I'm going to give back because I've had a huge, huge support and love from the vape community. So I want to finally be able to do something myself, and this was the perfect opportunity. So I'm going to be doing a giveaway, my very first the main base of it is going to be on my Instagram page. That's Token Vaping, one word, on Instagram. That's going to be where the center point of my giveaway is going to be. But if you want, that's going to be where the main entries are. If you want a second opportunity to enter and win with a second chance, just click the red subscribe button underneath the comment box for my YouTube channel, and it'll give you an extra chance at winning one of these and a line of juice. Now, two of my sponsors for juices is going to be the Philosopher's Stone. He's been awesome enough to donate a full line of 35 ml bottles. It will be in your nick preference. And then the other one is going to be another company that I deal with. It's great people behind the scenes there, the Apothecary Elixir Company. And they're willing to give a 60 ml bottle of the winner's choice of flavor and nicotine level, and I'll have all the details for that on my Instagram page as well. But definitely, if you are interested in trying out this tank for yourself, definitely hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram, follow Apothecary Elixirs, follow Philosopher's Stone and Innokin as well. So with that, this is the Scion tank, and it is a basic setup tank. I mean, there's only 4 pieces to this. You have your drip tip, which is quite a wide bore chuff cap tip. You have your top cap here, which is also your fill port. You have the glass, you have your coil, and then you have your base. So 5 pieces. I apologize. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 pieces. But that's basically the setup to the tank. Now, there are other reviewers out there that have done reviews on this tank, and they have all stated that it has come with 2 different coils. And I'm not sure if that was just an overseas thing outside the United States. But for these ones here, coming from the States, it comes with 2 of the same coils, which are the 0.28 coils. And these coils are rated, tested and rated between 100 and 200 watts. Boom! So there's your big hits. But they do make a 0.5 coil available that is also, it's rated between 70 to 110 watts. So in actuality, I might actually try to get some of those coils myself, try them out in this tank, because that's a bit more of the range that I'm more comfortable vaping in. And then I can do a follow-up video for that as well to let you guys know how those run. But this is the box. It's really simplistic. They're not really worried about the packaging so much as they are what's inside the packaging. But it has a picture of this, a quick little blurb of what the tank is about, the name of the company, name of the tank. It comes with the recommended wattage and the coils that are going to be in here, which is 2 of the 0.28s. And then on the back, they have a quick little directional thing about how to change out the coils, how to fill the tank. This replaces all the extra papers that you have on the inside with all the instruction card, things like that. So it saves money that way, but it also saves on all the clutter of the box itself. And then you have your warning label, all your logos and everything that is needed for your warnings and recycling, things like that, the ingredients of the container, what all comes in the box, and then has the scan code and then the authenticity scratch off. So that's basically the box itself. Now, in the box, you get the tank, and 1 coil will come pre-installed, and then the other stuff that you get into it is you get the bag of extra seals, which basically is a whole nother set of seals to fill out the tank. You get your extra Pyrex glass, and then you get the other spare coil. And this I will show you so that you can see after I drop it. Sorry about that. This, so you can see how beefy this coil is. Now, if you're used to like the TFV series and even the Cleto 120 coils, then you're used to seeing beefy coils, and you understand that obviously to get the higher wattages and bigger clouds and flavor, you're going to need beefier coils. But that is the coil. That is a pretty massive coil, and it's got your cotton holes. There's 4 of them on the side, flat bottom, and then there is the cotton and the Kanthal wiring that is on the inside. And this is a pretty nice beefy size coil, so you definitely know you're going to be getting something out of it. But you do get 2 of those. Like I said, they do make a 0.5, which I will be trying to get at least 1 or 2 of for future, and then I will do an update as well to let you know how those work out. Now, the tank itself, I'll give you a quick rundown. I'll show you a vape on it, and then I'll give you some quick pros and cons on this. Like I said, I pre-filled the coil, and the juice has been sitting in it, and the juice that I'm using is actually from one of the juices that you will be winning. It's Apothecary. This is the number 4, which is a butter pecan cheesecake caramel. I'm in love with the flavor. It's a great dessert flavor. I did a review on that also. You can check that out if you're interested. But this is the tank, and as you can see, if I tilt it so that the juice leans out a little bit, I just wanted to show real quick that you'll see a gap between the coil and the glass, so that it doesn't stop or doesn't fill up a huge air pocket when you go to fill it, like some other tanks of that design kind of have that, run into that problem. But real simple, real basic. As far as the setup, you have your 2 airflow holes on the bottom, and they are pretty beefy as far as spacing wise. I mean, you literally can see through it quite easily. So there's definitely that. So you definitely get massive airflow on that. I am a full open airflow vapor. To fill this, you just basically on the top cap, you just push down on it, and then give it a twist, and then the whole chuff cap basically pops off like so. And then you have 3 massive fill ports on the top. Obviously you don't put juice down the center tunnel, but you can see the 3 fill ports. I mean, you cannot not get any type of unicorn bottle, chubby gorilla bottle, eyedropper bottle in there to fill this. I mean, it is quite easy to fill. You have 3 different fill ports to use to fill that. So I mean, you're definitely going to have a real easy time to fill this with any juice that you pretty much want. For the demonstration of vaping this, I'm going to use my iJoy Lux just because of the larger batteries. Now, as you can pretty much guess, pretty much using any high wattage tank, whether it's this one, whether it's the smoke or anything like that. I mean, the higher wattage you go, you're gonna vape your batteries down quicker. You're gonna go through juice quicker. I mean, it's just standard for the course. However, there are a lot of people out there that like to vape higher wattages, and that's great because, you know, it just means that more and more companies are being more accommodating for that. However, not everybody vapes super high. I'm going to start this at, it says 100 watts is the start. Now, I will tell you this, and I need to say this because this is a disclaimer for myself that I need to make sure is in here. I first tried this, and I when I filled this for the very first time out of the box, I juiced the coil. I let it sit for about 5 to 6 minutes. Filled up the tank, let it sit for another couple of minutes. Tried vaping this at about 90 watts just to get it started, and all the juice basically leaked out. That's not because of the tank. That's not because of the coil. That's not because of the company. That was on me. There are some coils that they say has to be run at a certain wattage that you can vape lower. For instance, the Cleto 120, it says 100 to 120 watts. I vape mine at 85. But this tank is meant to be vaped at higher wattages because that is the purpose of this tank. So I just want to make sure that that is known. If you luck out and you are able to get it to run comfortably and not have any issues under 100 watts, that's awesome. I mean, definitely if it works out for you. If it does, let me know what you did, because I'd like to try that myself. Because honestly, I'm not a high wattage vapor. I don't vape over 100 watts on a regular basis. It's not because I can't. It's not because I don't want to. Well, obviously it's because I'm not comfortable with it, but it's just because I've never found a need to have to vape that high. There are some people that can't vape below 100 watts. That's fine. That's fine if that works best for them. It's all about what works best for you. But I just needed to make that known. So I'm going to start this at 100 watts. This is the Scion tank from Innokin. And this, like I said, this coil is slated between 100 and 200 watts. But I'm going to start it at 100 just to show you, and then we'll work our way up from there. So airflow is wide open. So as you can see, even at 100 watts, that is some really rock solid airflow. That is some dense super clouds. Flavor is all right there as well. You know, it tastes and vapes the way it should at 100 watts. So I'm going to go to 110. Because I obviously don't want to take super long in the video, and I don't want to go up in single increments, but this is 110 watts. Still not super harsh. It's not super rough. You know, there's a slight warming on the tank itself, but obviously, you know, over 100 watts, you have to expect that because it's just the tank getting superheated. So we're going to go to 125. 125. Now that you see the clouds are really starting to pick up density and size and matter and everything else, tank warms up a bit more. Now the vape is starting to get a bit warm for me. So it's definitely, like I said, it's definitely hitting where it needs to go, but still it's not something that I can do on a regular basis. So there's 135. Oh yeah, the clouds off this thing are amazing. Do not get me wrong. Flavor is rock solid. Now, I will say what makes it hard to not want to try to up my wattage on a regular basis, the flavor definitely starts popping a lot more at the higher wattages. So, like I stated before, Innokin doesn't have a whole lot of tanks in this range. This is the only tank that is going to be for this rated, as the tank does warm up a bit. But over 100 watts, I would say over 110 watts, this tank starts to hit its stride, and it hits its stride pretty nicely for what it is. Now, again, if you are not a high wattage vapor, this may not be the tank for you. If you want to try breaking into high wattage vaping and you're not sure if you want to go straight to a coil, tanks are obviously the other option to go. This, for the setup, for the design, for what it is, it's simplistic. It looks pretty slick. Like I said, I mistakenly opened the white one. The black one would have looked better on my devices because most of mine are black. But the design is simplistic. The maintenance of it is not super hard. Like I said, they basically lay it out for you on the box itself. But it does exactly what it's supposed to do. As you can tell, there isn't any leaking issues over 100 watts. It basically does what it's supposed to do, and it does it pretty nicely. So I'm going to actually, since I need to put a little bit more juice in here, I'm going to actually show you the filling for this real fast, just to show you the ease of this. So you just push down on the top, like I said. Take the top off here. And with those massive fill ports, I mean, you really, really cannot mistakenly fill this wrong with those fill ports, just as long as you stay out of that center tunnel. But with as gracious of an opening as those are, I mean, there is pretty much nothing that you'll be using that you can't fit into those fill port holes to fill this tank up. It's good to go. And what did I say? We're at 135. So I'm going to go to 150. And that, honestly, I'm letting you guys know now, that is the highest I have ever vaped at. Ever. Ever. So this is 150 watts. That is sick. Clouds are amazing. The tank obviously is going to get warm from the higher wattage. You know what? Just for the sake of the video, right there, 200 watts. First time ever. You guys are seeing this. Very first time I've ever vaped anything this high. 200 watts, highest I've ever tried on the Scion tank. We'll give it a shot. Wow. Honestly, I'm really surprised. I honestly thought I would choke on that. Really smooth. Really, really smooth. Flavor is amazing. Flavor is amazing. The clouds, as you just saw, are phenomenal. So it is definitely one of the better tanks I've tried at that wattage. Again, like I said, I don't regularly vape over 100 watts, so it's probably not one that I'm going to use every day, all day, but it's definitely a tank that is worth using if you do vape higher. Now, it's a 3.5 mil capacity, so if you vape over, I would say 110 watts, I'd probably say that you're going to be filling this tank, 2, 3, 4 times a day, depending on how much of the day that you use this. But nowadays with most high wattage tanks, you're going to have to do that anyway, because obviously the higher wattage you go, the quicker you're going to burn through your juice, the faster you're going to drain through your battery. So just you have to keep that in mind, but that's just par for the course. Now, EC Supply recommended a couple of sites, and I will put those links in the comment box as well. You can go to vape.hub.com, thecloudyvapor.com, or periodicvapors.com are 3 that they recommended if you want to purchase this tank. And I will tell you, price-wise, the affordability of this tank makes it a no-brainer, if for no other reason, just to have it as a backup tank or a secondary tank. Vape.hub, it charges $22 for it, and then the other 2 are a little bit less than that. So it is a highly affordable tank. Hits really, really hard. At 200 watts, I mean, granted, I probably couldn't maintain that for a very long period of time, but 200 watts, I could hit it and it didn't tear my throat apart. Really wasn't much of a throat hit. It didn't get hot. It got warm, but it didn't get super hot. Now, real quickly, pros and cons. I'll start with the cons first. Most people do, and it's just things like that. Con-wise, if you offer 2 different coils, to me, since there are other reviewers that did have them, I would suggest, I mean, most other tanks do, but giving one of the lower ones and one of the higher end ones, so you can try the full range to this tank. Because right now, as it comes in the tank with the 2 high wattage coils, you only get to experience the super range. And like I said, for people like myself who are kind of a mid-range vape, it kind of deters them a little bit, because then they feel like if you have to vape it at that wattage, then it may not be the best solution. But since there is a lower wattage coil available for it, I feel that you should have one of the lower ones and one of the high ones in the package, so that you can try them both out. Another con is spitback. Now, there wasn't a whole lot that I experienced, but it does start to collect up around the drip tip, as standard vaping does cause. But over extended time, you do start to, now I won't say you get a bunch of liquid shoot into your mouth. I haven't experienced that myself, and I've been using this tank for probably the past 3-4 days pretty steadily. But after multiple uses of it, as you're vaping on it, you start to feel like you're tasting the juice on your tongue more than by just vaping it. So maybe some sort of a little spitback guard or something that can help cut down on that, at least, would be nice to see in the future if they ever do a revision of this tank, or they do another version of this tank. Something like that would be nice. But other than that, I mean, there aren't really any major bad things that I can see. Other option, and this is just more of a personal thing, it's not an actual con. Because of how beefy the tank is, it is a 3.5 mil with the coil in it, maybe offering, either a different type of glass that's a little bit bigger, or something similar to where you feel like you can get a little bit more room out of it. It wouldn't be a bad thing to offer if somebody else did want to go that route with it. But again, it's not a huge deal breaker. That's just a personal thing for myself. Something I like about it is that I just hit it at 200 watts, highest I've ever vaped, highest I've ever even tried, and it did not kill me. It didn't tear my throat apart. It was a lot smoother than I thought it was going to be. The clouds were nice off of it. The flavor was amazing. So it definitely holds up. The coil does what it needs to do. So they did well with that. Another thing I like is the cloud production on this is amazing. For people that are cloud chasers, if you're looking for a tank that's going to give you decent clouds, it definitely will. The Delrin tip I like because it does not heat up super bad. I did not feel like it burned my lips, especially at the higher wattages. It does come with a vape band, which I forgot to show in the package as well, so you can put that around the glass to keep that from breaking in there. I like the form of it. Like I said, I wish I would have opened the black one, but I like the form of it. It's not super tall. It's not super bulky looking. It's a 24 millimeter tank, so it will pretty much fit on everything that's out there, and it won't have a super overhang. The top fill I like. you know, most tanks nowadays are top fill, but I like the 3 immense sized fill ports because it makes it easy to accommodate any type of filling utensil you have, whether it's a normal unicorn bottle, whether it's one of the big beefy chubby gorilla bottles, whether you're using the dropper still straight out of a glass bottle. It will take all of that without a problem. You don't have to force it. You don't have to worry about overflow, things like that. Like I said, in the beginning I had a little bit of a leaking issue, but it wasn't anything super major. It was more on me than it was the tank itself. Over 100 watts now that I've been using it at that, I've had no problems with it whatsoever. But if you are looking for an affordable high wattage vaping tank, definitely check out the Scion tank from Innokin. It's just, it does what it needs to do. It stands up to what it has to do, and it delivers. I mean, I can't say anything better about it without, you know, going and repeating myself a gazillion times. But definitely check them out. I'll put the links in my comment box. Like I said, definitely check out my Instagram page. I will be posting the giveaway for that today. Today is the 13th of June, 6/13. I will run that giveaway for about 2 weeks. It'll go to the 27th, and then I will pick a winner either the night of the 27th or the morning of the 28th, and announce the winner and let them know through DM. But definitely check it out. You can win either one of these and some juice from some great juice lines. As always, guys, thank you so very much. Dan, EC Gallery, thank you so much for the opportunity to do this. It was a great privilege. Guys, definitely check them out. As always, I'm Token Vaping. I'm here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat and Pinterest. Anything that I can do myself to help further enhance your vaping experience, the only reason why I do this. So definitely hit me up. Let me know if there's anything you're looking for, anything you'd like to know, anything you want to see a video on. I will do everything in my power to make that happen. But until next time, no matter what, morning, noon, or night, always remember, truly love yourself. Vape on, vape strong. Have a good one, guys.